Okay, next up is a new feature of 5D Plus. In this video, I'll introduce it. First is the dimension baseline feature. So what is dimension baseline? This is a type of dimension that annotates based on the first reference point. To activate it, you first activate the dimension command, then enter the D command. I've set the shortcut key as D to activate it. Then I hold Control and roll the mouse wheel so you can see the pink color appear. Click a point. This is the baseline. When you click the second point, it works just like a regular dimension. But when you click the third point, you see the dimension line is measured from the baseline. So it works like this. You can keep going like this. The spacing between the lines is defined in the dimension style. This is called baseline dimension. Now you'll have another situation where you want to place these dimension lines all on the same line. Here's how you do it. Continue activating the dimension command, hold Control, and before you click the second point, press Tab. It will switch the text to the second point for you to place. Click here, drag it out, and notice how it's placed. There's a 0 at the beginning, and the text is placed right at the second click point. Now let's continue. You can either click and drag out, or click another point to set the next offset distance as before. So this is exactly what baseline dimensions are. These are dimension lines set based on the first point. When you press the Tab key while measuring a regular dimension, if the dimension line accidentally ends up here, pressing Tab will bring it back to the center. That's how you create baseline dimensions. Now, the second thing I want to introduce is the feature for editing dimension lines. There are two types of edits. First, editing the text, and second, editing the dimension line itself. Let me talk about editing the text first. To edit the text, you'll use the Select tool. Then hover your mouse over the text. It will light up red, indicating it's editable. Double-click and a dialog box will appear right where you clicked. You can enter a number or text to edit it. For example, if I type something like FromGate or FrontGate unlock, you'll see a two-line text appear here for you. If you want to edit somewhere else, just double-click there to edit. The dialog will pop up right where you click. You can change the number or code, for example, 2350. Okay, that's how you edit the number or code. Now, if you want the arrow to point down in the middle, what should you do? You should select it and turn on the dimension tool. In the dialog, set it to center alignment. Update it. If it doesn't update the first time, click Update again. Then turn off the background like this, and you'll have a dimension with two lines. That's the second point. The third point I've added compared to beta version 2 is the unit section. Now you have options for millimeters, centimeters, meters, and feet/inches. The same goes for the secondary units. Now let's switch back to millimeters. That's how you edit the text of a dimension. Now I'll show you how to edit the dimension lines themselves. The method is as follows. Still use the Select tool. When you hover your mouse over a dimension, you'll see it turn red, and the command line at the bottom will prompt you to click to stretch. So that's how you adjust a dimension. Secondly, it allows you to hold Control to select a chain. For example, here I have a dimension line that's part of a chain. Earlier you saw that they were overlapping, right? Let me Control Z to undo that. Now, what if you want to move an entire chain? Hold Control, and when you hover over it, the line turns pink, and if you keep holding Control, it turns yellow. You can then drag the whole chain. Okay, I'll delete this line and create a grid so it's easier for you to visualize and observe. I'll enter a column grid with a spacing of 2000. Okay, so this is an automatically generated grid, so it might not be accurate. Don't worry about that for now. Now I'll move the line over to this area. I'll activate the Select tool here, pick any dimension line from this chain, hold Control until it turns yellow, and click. That's how you adjust a dimension line in this version. Now, moving on to the second part, I'll show you how to create and edit annotations. You already know how, but let's go through it again. First, I'll create one over here, on this side. And over here. Click, click, and you can enter two lines, for example, A, B, C, X, Z. Press Control plus Enter or just press OK. Both work in this dialog box. If you press Control, it will go to a new line, for example, 123. Pressing Enter will go to a new line, but Control plus Enter will finish the command. So now you have a text note like this. Now I'll switch to the room name type, as I set up in the previous video. I'll scroll to select the second object to get the information for the living room. Okay, so you get info like this. Now, if you scroll up, drag it out, drag it up, just like that, drag it out. Okay, you have info like this. Now I want to talk about editing this note. Before that, I'll create another dimension, a special note in the form of a multi-leader with multiple arrows. Here's how to create it. Activate the note creation command, click the first dimension object, then press the Alt key once. Below, remember the command will show this key. This is the multi-leader. Press the Alt key once, and it will ask if you want to activate multi-leader mode. If yes, click, and then you'll see the blue arrow. This is the multi-leader. If you want to finish, press the Alt key again to end and start placing it. Okay, so here's the info. This is a multi-leader in 5D. Now I'll edit it. To edit, use the Select tool. When you hover over the label of the leader and it turns red, just right-click and you'll see the options to move it. Hello? That means you go to the spot where you placed it, click there, and delete it vertically. Okay, that's how you edit the text. Now, there's something even more special that I really like. When I figured this out, you can actually drag and move it, and you can also connect it easily. Turn on your eye icon, okay? Once you've combined the tool, you'll see it light up. This is the tool node. When you hover your mouse over the text and it turns red, just double-click to edit it. I'll edit it again here. This is the material name type, right? So I'll change it, for example, to M01, okay? But if you drag it, you'll notice it automatically flips the direction for you, the arrow. I think this is even better than in layout. This is exactly how you can drag and move, even with the multi-lifter, and it works really well. Now, what if you want to edit the breakpoints in the middle? Just hover your mouse and click on the glitter line, and it'll show round dots for you to adjust. If you drag the arrow, it'll move like this. If you drag a breakpoint in the middle, it'll move like this. And if you drag the point attached to the text, it'll pull the text along with it, like this. If you drag the text itself, it'll move like this. Another special thing is that these points are very sensitive to each other. When you move your mouse horizontally and it lines up with a node, it'll automatically snap to it. See? This makes it easy for you to create clips that can connect at right angles like this. There you go. And just like this, here you have this line. Like this. See, the numbers are like this and then like this. When you want the arrow line for the reference, just click on it and you'll see a red line appear. That's the main line. The other line is just a secondary one passing through this arrow. It's really nice, like this, all lined up together, and there's no label. All right. Okay, that's the content of today's video. Thank you for watching. This is Peter 3, which will be released at the end of this Saturday, everyone. Bye-bye.